Man, my mentality is to go win, make plays when I need to, and I think when you see your guys out there making plays, if I'm making plays, I feel like that just rallies the troops. I know I get excited when my guy makes a play, and I'm amped up, and I feel more into the game. It feels great to be part of this legacy, man. We got a lot of legends in Tennessee. Payne Manning, a lot of just guys that have played my position here. So I think just carrying that torch, man, and doing what I can and passing it to the next whoever's next. So
Yeah, a guy that continues to invest and become better, a guy that cares a lot about his teammates, does a great job communicating with those guys one-on-one. Again, as a young player, just really excited about where he's at, but also where he's going.
Nico is going to waltz into the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee, 31 yards.
It's been great, man. I've been, a guy in high school, youth ball, to always have a lot of family in my games. So it's very cool to, bring my whole family up to the games.
Yeah, Nico comes from such a strong family background. His family is one always around him. It's his trust circle. It's where he, re-energizes himself. But that family aspect is also, why the players inside of our building have gravitated towards him.
Go around, boy! Go around, Squirrely! I see you, bro. I see you, bro.
You watch him. He's got great relationships with guys. He does an unbelievable job of grabbing a skill guy or an old lineman after a play, talking about it. He's got a great ability to develop relationships. He knows that matters. Guy, the quarterback position, guys got to play for you, not just. It's been fun to see him grow that aspect inside of our building.
Nico cares about knowing what the receivers are thinking. What's the room's vibe like? Like, is there something that we're disagreeing on? It takes a lot of time to develop relationships so that he can have those conversations and learn things that can help us be more successful. And I think it's extremely mature of him. He's done a really good job just being communicative and being a leader and showing that he's a leader that cares. He's open to talking. And, at the end of the day, he's trying to help us all be successful.
I feel like I've created a bond with, every one of my guys on the team. And our whole team is, we're high on holding each other accountable, and we've been big on that.
Oklahoma, the Vols gonna kick some Sooner ass. Welcome.
Yeah.
It is Friday evening, September 20th, 2024, and it's this week's edition of the Barry Orange live stream. I am your co-host, the erstwhile super genius Wiley, and to my left is
young Brandon, as always.
As always.
Let's get to talking a little football, shall we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is time for our Men in Orange to make the 845-mile trek to the west to that triple wide of a football stadium out there in Norman, Oklahoma, that they call the Palace on the Plains.
What?
That's that. You can put a rose on a turd; it's still a turd.
It is.
I mean,
polish that turd all you want to. It does not compare to Neyland.
You can put French's mustard all over it; it's still going to taste like shit. Just saying.
Importantly.
Just saying.
All right, so we're going to rewind it back a little bit, and we'll talk about the Kent State game, but also that beautiful video of our boy Nico.
Can you still not say his last name?
Not without writing it down. Iamaliava.
Iamaliava. Iamaliava. Iamaliava.
Iamaliava.
Iamaliava.
I knew the correction was coming, and I hate being corrected.
I'm a reading teacher, folks. Iamaliava. Anyway. Anyway.
Beautiful game, of course, last week, and he just lit up Neyland like it was a damn fireworks show for 60 minutes.
I mean,
30 minutes.
I mean, there are some things that obviously that he did that he would not be able to get away with better competition. That is, I think we can say Kent State, without being hyperbolic, was probably the worst team in my lifetime to ever set foot in Neyland Stadium. But they were epically bad.
And it was certainly a combination, though.
It was, yeah. Well,
being good.
We did exactly.
Yeah,
we did exactly what we were supposed to do. No more, no less. That granted, the onside kick 30-0 was good. Seen by the general public as a.
Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
It was. I mean, I can see by how the general public it could seem by a as a D-bag move. I mean, there's another argument that could be said that Josh was trying to give them good field position and they just didn't do their job. And what did you expect us to do? Leave it laying on the field and not go after it? It's like it's the same thing. It's the same thing that happened against UTC. If you're not going to protect the punter, do you not expect us to block the kick? So
exactly.
I mean, so what do you want to happen in that scenario?
Well, and then
I don't think either way. I don't necessarily think it was the best idea at the time, but the optics weren't great. But I was pleased that we got everybody who dressed got to play. I mean, I think that's pretty something. We were on our fifth quarterback.
They emptied the benches.
We were on our fifth quarterback. Somebody joked on Knoxville radio this week that the one person who should have been pissed that they didn't get to take reps at quarterback snaps at quarterback was Jackson Ross, because he's the only one that didn't see the field because he didn't get the punt at all.
All right. To the chagrin of Mr. Jesse BS5WI, I don't know what the hell most of that means. I'm just going to call him Jesse BS.
We're experts in BS, by the way.
He seemed to, we're the kings of that. He seems to take issue with us playing Kent State. Well, son, they got money. They got probably close to $2 million, 1.5, somewhere in that range. It is a glorified practice for us, and that is why we did that kick.
Look,
just to kind of go through those motions, and maybe if we see that set up again, get one by them. And I didn't love it. But I understand what the reasoning behind it is.
I do. It will see. Look, there are some tuttas out there, and if you don't know what a tutta is, it stands for typical UT asshole. And who reveled in that game, who enjoyed every single second of it. And I hope Brandon joins back here because he's got the show format and I don't. Who reveled in it and were happy about what we did, how we handled it, how we pounded them into the dirt. I personally didn't enjoy it. Okay, it was like beating up on a helpless kitten. After a little while, it wasn't fun. It was looking at the train wreck after a while. And I personally did not get any enjoyment out of it. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. Personally, I'm glad I stayed home for the game. I watched it on TV. I watched it on TV, and it was what it was. Everybody schedules cupcakes. We just happened to schedule two back to back this year. I mean, it's the same thing happens. We're not gonna have that luxury anymore. And I mean, shit's about to get real. We're walking into Norman, Oklahoma, and Brandon's computer died, so he forgot to plug it in. So he'll be back shortly. So I'm gonna vamp here for a few minutes. We're about to walk into Norman, Oklahoma. Okay, a lot of history here. Tennessee and Oklahoma have played 4 times. Oklahoma's won 3 of them. We won the first one in 1939 at the Orange Bowl. They won the last one in Norman in 2016, 34-10. The year before that, they broke our hearts in Knoxville in double overtime because Butch Jones was a pussy and wouldn't go for it on 4th down and kicked a field goal to, whatever. Past the past, bad flashbacks. I don't know. Rehash old bad memories. Anyway, it is what it is. This game, though, for a lot of people, is more than just Tennessee going to town to play Oklahoma. This is more than Oklahoma's just more than just Oklahoma's first SEC game in conference. Those are pretty big things in and of themselves. But this one's personal. Hi there, buddy. Hi, pal.
Folks.
Yeah, live. Yeah.
Now,
Well,
what was personal again there, bud?
Okay. So this one's personal. For those of you who don't know the history, and I would think that a lot of you who are fans would know, especially Oklahoma fans, Josh Heupel was the starting quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners when they won their last national title in 2000. He was Bob Stoops' golden boy. Josh Heupel then went on to join the Oklahoma staff as a full-time coach in 2004. And by 2011 had risen to be the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Well, and was seen to be as the heir apparent to Bob Stoops. Everybody thought he's coaching waiting. It's going to be his job. When Stoops steps down, it's going to be Josh's job. Well, apparently that's not apparently. That didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. In 2011, Josh Heupel was fired as offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Oklahoma, along with another offensive assistant who some of you may have heard of. He's this guy. He's currently 0-3 down in Florida. His name is Mike Norvell. But the thing that really stinks about the whole situation is this. It wasn't the offense that was the problem. For the offense at Oklahoma in 2011 wasn't a problem. In fact, it was the strong point of the team. It was the defense that was the problem. But guess who Bob Stoops' defensive coordinator was at the time? It was his baby brother, and I kept on my brother. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get rid of family. So, there's some animosity there. Now, Josh Heupel is way too much of a class act to talk about it. To really talk about it.
Let's read this description.
Okay.
Oklahoma's once beloved son returns to Norman with his Tennessee Volunteers this Saturday. I can play the video if you'd like, or
let me finish up what I'm saying, and we can segue into the video.
Okay.
So Josh is way too high class, way too much of a mensch to actually bring it up and use it. But you got to know he's feeling it. He wants this badly.
Oh yeah.
2 days ago. Well, no, it was actually yesterday. Yesterday, Bob Stoops sends out a press release and says that he will not be accepting questions from Oklahoma or Tennessee media about Brent Venables or Josh Heupel. Well, fast forward that a little bit, and Coach Bob does a podcast every week at bobstoops.com. There's a plug, and that's more of a butt plug than a the good kind. Well, some might argue that is the good kind, but anyway, tomato. And he goes on his podcast, and whoever his co-host is, I don't know who the gentleman's name is, but they have a conversation about, should Josh Heupel be welcomed back to Norman? And Bob, like, of course he should be welcomed back to Norman. He should be welcomed with open arms, regardless of what our issues are. Let me tell you something, Bob Stoops. Josh Heupel is about to do what Oleana Terrell did to Joffrey Baratheon on Game of Thrones. He's going to take that ass out, and you're going to know it was him. You're going to know exactly who did it, and instead of using poison, he's going to use Nico Yamala. I can't now. You got me mispronouncing. Damn it.
Yamaliava.
Yeah, whatever. He's going to use Nico. He's going to use James Pierce. He's going to use Dylan Sampson. He's going to use Omar Norman Lott. He's going to use Dante Thornton. He's going to use Chris Brazzell, and just we coming, baby.
And not to mention that pathetic offensive line of Oklahoma's.
I mean, the left side. How you going to protect Jackson Arnold? How's that going? Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people out there who think this game is going to be a rout. I'm not one of those people. Okay. There's way too much on the line just to think that we're going to go in there and steamroll them. Now the line's set 6.5, 7. We'll get the picks later. But I don't think that's unreasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable, but I also don't think it's going to be that. It's not going to be as nearly as easy as some people would be led to believe.
Here are my thoughts. I think the Sooners are going to put up a fight for about half this game. And I think those boys are going to get the dog shit wore out of them. And then we're going to take over.
Here's the problem.
I'm seeing 20 point.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it. Am I a buyer at that level? No. I'm not. But here's the problem as I see it. We are 9 deep on the D line. 9 deep. Okay.
We're just gonna keep coming after that quarterback.
The problems we have had with depth in the past are gone, or long gone. Okay. We're going to keep rotating in fresh defensive linemen. We could do it every single play. And we're going to keep. They've got to figure out how to protect Jackson Arnold's blind side. Otherwise, he is just going to get murderized out there. Not that I'm not concerned about Danny Stutzman and their boys on defense. I mean, they've got.
Did you hear what former Georgia QB said about the Vols?
Which one?
Aaron Murray, Ann's little brother.
Yeah.
He said that Tennessee was the closest team he'd seen to match up against those mighty, mighty Bulldogs.
See, I can't look that far yet. I can't do it.
I know hope's a dangerous drug.
I mean, I'm taking it. I'm taking this sucker game by game. We got to get through this one, and then we got to get to the Hogs, man. I'm not ready to be thinking about Georgia at this point.
Have you looked at any lines for the Hogs?
No.
Yeah, I haven't.
But I would think it's honestly going to depend. If we win, it's going to be if we win this weekend, it's going to be 10 plus. I would, that's what I would guess it would be, we put at that, even though it's an away, it's in Fayetteville, you know.
That it is the impenetrable Hog Palace. All right, let's back up a few. We'll get back to the Vols, back to football, but let's talk about some other things here before we give ourselves a break here. I guess the first thing that was on my mind is there any way in hell Florida gets Kiffin?
Here, I mean, yeah, realistically, yeah. But does Kiffin want to go? I mean, realistically, what kind of pressure does he have right now at Ole Miss? I mean, if he makes the playoffs with them, they're going to keep him for life. I mean, he's going to get a Bowden contract at that point. I mean, so, I just don't see. I don't know that he wants that pressure. I mean, he does. He's got a cushy job right now. He doesn't. He does. He doesn't want the pressure. He doesn't have to worry about Saban anymore, even though he never got out of. He's never going to escape that shadow.
If he did go to Florida, he would have to be some kind of football savior there. One of the things is the deadline for what was it? The transfer portal thing is going to close right before the college football playoffs. So if he makes a run with Ole Miss this year, there will be nobody there in Florida to play football except for a bunch of walk-ons.
I honestly think he may be the only chance they would have to keep DJ Lagway at that point. I think DJ Lagway's gone. I don't see him saying. I see him taking that $1.3 million NIL deal he has. And
my second point is, if it were 10 years ago and it was the Florida job, you got everybody in the country wanting to go down there. But as of the past 3 or 4 years, they're not exactly in that top tier of the SEC anymore.
It's a top 6 SEC job. I mean, let's think about well,
nobody wants to go there.
Bama, Georgia, us, LSU. Bama, Georgia, us, LSU, Auburn. No, well, A&M, Texas is in there. Texas top 5.
A&M, Texas.
Yeah.
Even if they were to
I mean, it's
they got all kinds of money.
yeah. I would probably I'd even maybe put it in there above A&M, just from because it's Florida. I mean,
no, I think they're too far gone. I think they're mid tier, somewhere in the mid best right now. But we know as Vols fans, hell, that shit can happen quickly where you go from king of the mountain to shit.
being Sisyphus squashed under the rock. I mean,
right.
Look, misery loves company. Okay, it just so we know. Look, do we know how Florida fans feel right now? Absolutely. Are we loving it? Hell yeah.
I ain't hating it.
I ain't hating it. I ain't hating it. And I got some good friends who are Florida fans, but I ain't hating it for them.
We'll call Kiffin a pie in the sky kind of hire for Florida. Who do you think is a more realistic coach that might throw his hat in the ring down there?
I mean, I still think the scariest one for me is Alex Golish. I mean,
that is he's pretty good. He'll have to build up a defense.
Heupel's consigliere. I mean, come on, seriously. That would be a personally scary one for me. I mean, I could see, but I think there are other possibilities that may pop up.
This is the most interesting one to me, and I forget where I saw it. If it might have come up in our chat, but I'd seen it before then. Froggy himself, Coach Ogeron.
Well, I mean, I think Ed Ogeron's head coaching days are over. Now, is he possibly the greatest interim coach in the history of college football? Yeah, I think you can reasonably say that. If they fired Billy Napier midseason, would he be a guy you could bring in to keep the ship above water? Yeah, I could see that too. You mean say pay him $3 million for the rest of the season, and he'd probably come in and coach the boys up and try to keep.
Why do you think Ogeron is not a good candidate?
I mean, he got found out a little bit. I think Ed Ogeron is a damn good recruiter. He's a very, I mean, he got some studs at LSU. He got some studs at Tennessee he got some studs at UT for that one year. I mean, we had David Oku, who was who ended up at Oklahoma, ironically enough. And a lot of stud players on that team that were there. They're basically rent players for that year.
So you don't think he would be able to delegate? Because see, it's my opinion that all right, you're a head coach.
He had a damn good staff at LSU.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I give more of his credit to his staff at LSU. He had Dave Aranda and those guys, and that was, I mean, that it was, I think he did. I think he can delegate. The question was once those guys were gone and more of it got put on his plate.
Yeah.
Now, if you want somebody to coach up your O-line, I think Ed Ogeron's a great choice. I think Ed Ogeron's a great O-line coach.
Yeah.
But as far as a head guy, I mean, I think it's his time is done. I really do. I think he might, he could pick up some consulting work and interim gig here or there, but I would just live off the interest from the buyout.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
down there next door to Jimbo and Destin.
Right. 8:30, 38. Always screw that up too. Who's the guy from Georgia Tech? What's his name?
Oh, the offensive coordinator. Are you talking about the offensive coordinator?
Well, no, the coach.
Oh, Brent Key.
Yeah.
I don't know that he. Why would he want to go? Considering, I mean, Brett Key, Buster Faulkner. I mean, I don't know why he would go. That's considering what he went through to get the Tech job.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to fight like hell to get that. I mean, Alex Golish. I think you're looking like it. Alex Golish.
I think it's too soon for him.
Lance, maybe it may be, but I think he's going to be on the list. I think they're crazy not to.
He could be. He's in state. That certainly helps.
Yeah, but Alex Golish, Lance Leipold, Chris Kleinman from Kansas State.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Rule would not be a crazy idea in that situation. I mean,
yeah,
we might even see if Ryan Day wants to come down here and play some big boy football. I mean that if the money was good enough.
Could you imagine how good it would be to just beat Ryan Day every year?
I mean, sometimes you learn hard. Somebody brought up James Franklin, and no.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Franklin is a good coach. I don't want anybody associated with. I don't want anybody who would. No, not from that institution. Still has too much respect for me. I'm sorry, and I have friends. I have friends who have I have a high school friend who has a child playing on that team right now, and God bless my boy. Good luck to you, but I can't cheer for you. Can't do it.
No,
cannot do it.
Not hardly. Mm-mm. All right. That seems well covered enough. It's Florida, for God's sakes.
Shot in Florida.
What was that?
Shot in Florida.
Let's talk about FSU while we're at it. Who is, say it with me,
and 3. Yep. Yeah, if you play the same 3 team we did, we'd be 0-3-2. Son, we house Memphis. I'm sorry. Memphis is probably going to win the AAC, but they're bottom middle of the pack in the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no.
Well, that's what I was about to say. They could maybe. I'll give them probably. They could probably beat Vanderbilt because they had a pretty stout little defense. But it would be a close game.
I mean, you saw what Missouri did to BC in the second half of that game last week, and how BC just went through the nose like crap through a goose. I mean, that's just.
So what the hell is little Mikey gonna do? Because they're not gonna fire him.
I don't know.
Sign big ass contract.
I mean,
Maybe he can get Ultron down there.
they're still paying Jimbo's alimony down there. So I mean, they haven't paid Coach.
Yeah.
They still haven't paid Coach Willie off either,
Yeah.
which was
Hell, I think FSU does stand for earmuffs, kids.
yeah,
Fucking shit up.
exactly. I mean, and the irony is more people are going to start going to FAMU games to listen to the band. They're going to show up at FSU home games this year because the 100 are a lot more entertaining than the Knowles are.
They'd have to be.
So
it's just I would like to be saddened by it, but they sure were shit heels to us after we whooped their ass in baseball and won the College World Series.
By the way, did you happen to hear what Ron Slay said earlier this week on 104.5 The Zone in Nashville?
No.
He said, please God. And this, for those of you who don't know who Ron Slay is a VFL. He played basketball for Tennessee from like 99 to 02. And he's from Nashville. He played for Pearl High School in Nashville. I think he played for Pearl. He played high school. He's from Nashville anyway. And he basically said, please God, don't let Tennessee win. If you love the earth and you want to keep living the way you're living, do not let Tennessee win the national title of football this year. Because
I saw that clip. I did not know who that was him.
Your way of life, as you know, it will be over. He says, we won a natty in baseball. We handled it well. We'll win a natty in basketball one day, and we'll deal with it. But God, if this team wins the national title of football this year, man, the planet is going to burn.
Scorched earth.
I would like to think we're a little more civilized than that, but I mean, this is not like, this is not like it wouldn't be like Chicago after the Bulls' second three-peat, but I've been proved. Titleist has proved me wrong before.
Right.
The number one ball in golf, by the way, Titleist.
All right, let's we'll hit some professional, see what your opinion is. Then we'll get to our lovely picks this week.
Excellent.
What in the hell, Braves? What in the hell?
I can't get into baseball. I've lost ever since the National League went with the DH. I'm just like, I could die. Yeah.
I didn't like that.
It's like what Louis Grizzard said about the Ohio State Michigan games, like two mules fighting over a turnip. Who gives a shit?
I'm always gonna love my Braves, but geez.
Well, it's just everybody got hurt. And everybody got hurt, and nobody's hitting, and they've only got one guy. They've only got one guy pitching.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and our bullpen's never, with the exception of 2021, our bullpen's never been that great.
Yeah.
So, those things combined, it's just they're schizoid is what they are. They can't make up their minds what they want to be.
Larry Jones Jr. Some of you might know him as Chipper. He works with the Braves, and kind of helps out, has some kind of official position. And he said it's not like it used to be, and that these guys, all they ever want to do is hit the long ball. That's like a lesson for a bunch of fucking high schoolers. If you've got one out and a guy on third, one of you dumbasses ought to get put it together that you just need a single or something and get that man home. Not trying to hit a home run and striking out, hit a home run and striking out. That's basic ass baseball.
Yeah, but when you go out and hire a bunch of guys who don't know not how not to swing freely, I'm looking at you, Jorge Soler. Yeah, and I say I don't pay attention.
Well, you got to pay a little attention.
I look at the score and I look at the score and I look at the stat line. I haven't watched a full Braves game in years.
Yeah, well, and also that has to do with no TBS.
True
which
that.
pisses me off to this day. So what do you think our chances are? Will we make the postseason? I think we're 2 back.
Yeah, if we can't be consistent, we obviously can hang with the Dodgers and the Mets, but the problem is we'll beat the top teams in the division, and then we'll win 4 against them and drop the next 3 to the bottom. So it's the Dodgers league pennant to lose at this point.
I kind of feel the same way.
Especially, and they're, it's going to be turning into a spectacle, especially if Ohtani pitches.
Oh yeah,
because they're talking about having Ohtani pitch at least one game in the playoffs. So,
but he's one of those guys. You can love him or hate him, but you can't deny that dude's a ball player.
Oh, absolutely. He's yeah.
I heard a story, and I'll run through this as quickly as possible. Rob Lowe went to meet him out there in LA. Star privileges, what they are and everything. And he was in just a pair of running shorts and his jersey. So he goes down there, he's going to take a picture, and he says, "Oh, whoa, hang on." He puts on his full getup: pants, stirrups, cleats, belt, full uniform. Gets dressed up, take that picture with him. And this is way before the game, before anybody's dressed out to play. And so Rob Lowe goes back to his chair, and he's with one of the Dodgers people, and they get a message from Mr. Ohtani. And he says, "Hey, is it all right if I post this to social media?" Now, not a Dodgers fan, but I'm a Shohei Ohtani fan. See, I can say names that aren't English.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of. There are very few people I can think of that would do anything like that for someone else.
Aliava. No, I'm just
Aliava.
For those who remember back in the day, that's okay. I can't say Chevrolet. You have to be my age. You have to be my age. You have to be my age. You have to be my age to understand that reference.
Okay, let's hit the NFL, then picks. Boy, did the Cowboys ever just shit the bed all over the place
Yeah, but did that? But did Alvin Kamara save my ass in fantasy?
Oh, I'm sure.
I
He
no no
got
no no
in.
no oh no. I ended up with having both CMC out and Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram wasn't announced until like 20 minutes before kickoff of the Jacksonville game that he was out. So I was out my one of my running backs and my tight end. I no time to sub in. And Alvin had 43 points. 43. 4 players. That's more than 4 players on my team. And I was going to lose, man. I was, and I've got a good fantasy team, but most of my guys are hurt right now. I mean, McCaffrey's out for 4 games. I got to start Tajay Sharp in his place, and he's going to get me 2 points a game if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, so. But Kamara,
so
man.
On that same note,
that's a legend making. That's a legend making performance right there.
Yeah. The Saints just annihilated them, and who saw that coming?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've got one Derek Carr as my quarterback. Because I'm in a league where you have 2, and I picked him. Of course, and I had Jordan Love, and Love's hurt for probably out for another game. But man, Carr's been lighting it up. Kamara. I think these Saints are going to be a team to be reckoned with, and I don't love them.
You're good,
but I kind of like seeing teams like that have been bad the past few years that come back and swinging. Right?
It's hard. It's hard not to like.
Speaking of which, our boy Jawan Jennings, VFL,
the dog.
He's number 1 fantasy recommended. That someone if you can, pick him up, and he's supposed to do really well the next couple of games because
if somebody hadn't choked, he would have been Super Bowl MVP last year. I'm pretty damn well convinced of that.
Yeah. All right, sir. So we're going to do things a little differently. I don't know if I love this, but kind of is what it is. What did we have? $11 people, 12 people,
12,
something like that, in our pick'em contest. SEC biased. The other streamers in our little group, all 3 of them, me and Dren, our boy Mitch, Mikey, we're all in this, and let's just kind of hit some, because also they're like way more. I like to pick 5 games to focus on. This is all of them, like all the SEC games. Let's talk about this Texas game. Every one of us picked Texas to cover. Now they are playing
Texas San Antonio.
Monroe.
Oh, they're Monroe. Oh, Monroe. Okay, I thought they're playing.
And that they're
San Antonio this weekend.
44.5-point favorite.
Well, this is the Arch Manning Cotillion. The coming out.
Yeah.
I saw today that he has the number one. He has the top NIL deal in the country at $3.1 million.
Million, quadrillion, babillion.
It's getting nice problem to have there. Not even really the starter. So we'll see how much he plays. I mean, Texas kind of this is a good game for Texas to kind of let their third and fourth string guys play because they're already down to running backs plus their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So they're hurting quite a bit.
Wait a minute, Dren. Do you mean that there are actual good reasons to play these cupcake games?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Here they come from both sides. That was for you, Jesse. BS.
Double deuce, baby.
743.
This is going to be a good to rest some guys to get them back to kind of get some guys healthy. Hopefully, get some people back that they've lost. But I mean, this is going to be a 50-point win at home for Texas. I just don't see unless Arch just completely shits the bed.
Yeah.
This is going to be a 6-touchdown game for him. Do
you think they'll have a lot of design run plays for him? Because I was kind of amazed that he could run that well. Like I thought it was just a genetic predisposition to sucking at running.
Well, Archie could run. No. Archie ran for his fucking life when he was the starting quarterback for the Saints in the 70s. Okay,
yeah,
he ran for his life. And Cooper was a wide receiver. Yeah. So the kid's got the mobile genes. And Eli could run a little bit. Peyton's problem is Peyton's of all three of the Manning boys, Peyton is the biggest one. He's the tallest one and he's the stockiest one. Peyton's playing weight. Peyton was 6'5", 243. Give or take 5 pounds. And so he didn't have the mobility the other guys had. I mean, his strength was his ability to create in the pocket. Eli could run. Now none of them could run like Dad. None of them could run like Archie. And we never really got to see what Cooper could do because before Cooper got hurt before he ever got on the field in college.
Yeah.
And had to retire. So I mean, we don't.
In case any of you haven't seen the 30 for 30 Manning, I forget the
I can't remember
proper name of it, but it's a good one. It's good to watch.
Excuse me.
All right, so Texas.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bloodbath. Not Kent State, bad, but it's gonna be pretty bad. Not Kent State, Tennessee bad, but it's gonna be bad.
Everybody except our friend JP, Jonathan Page, picked Ole Miss to cover against Georgia Southern. And they're a 36.5 point dog.
I honestly, I mean, Southern hasn't been a powerhouse since the early 90s when they were still FCS and they ran the option all the time.
Early 2000, late 90s, because that kid also named
Adrian Peterson. Yeah.
I got to see him play in the championship or semi. I forget which one. He was awesome. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't have a bigger NFL career.
Well, the whole
But you can't
the whole hearing impaired thing probably didn't help very much,
probably
unfortunately.
did not.
No.
So yeah, Ole Miss.
Yeah, I just
This is interesting. South Carolina is hosting Akron. 28.5 points is the spread in favor of the Coots. The only one that didn't pick that was Ethan. And I started to look at this and I thought, South Carolina is going to win, but I don't know if they got that 28.5 point. Because we didn't really touch on this, but a lot of people are saying the LSU South Carolina game was like this great thing. There was a lot of sloppy, shitty football in that game, as well as good defensive play.
Well, had I known, Lenora Sellers is not going to play. Robbie Ashford's going to be starting. So, had I known that Sellers was still going to be out, look.
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken him either.
Yeah, I probably. But here's kind of how I feel about it. Joe Moorhead's a punk. His players are punks. They tried to hurt Brew McCoy. They did not Brew McCoy. They did no Cedric Tillman. They did their best to try to hurt Cedric Tillman in that game in Knoxville 2 years ago. They put him out for. They definitely put him out, and they were throwing cheap shots out there every chance they got, and they still got that ass whooped.
By the way, folks, we were there.
Yes, we saw what happened. Live and in living color, if you will, in public. There's one for Tater. So I think South Carolina's going to win. But I don't trust Robbie Ashford to not blow out it, not throw Hershey squirts in his pants when he drops back to throw the ball and sees anything resembling a pass rush against him. So 21 points maybe. But yeah,
I was thinking cut that in half to a 14-point win.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm willing to give Carolina a little more credit because it's a home game and because it's Akron. But
yeah,
I just
that kid's not a good quarterback. That Ashford kid, it's pathetic out there. Moving on, upward and onward. We're about half and half on this, which is funny. Texas A&M is playing Bowling Green, and they're favored by 23. That's the line. But that is this is another one I looked at and I thought, man, I don't know if they can score 23 points.
I think that so I think Marcel Reed's probably gonna play. Next week or this week. I think Connor Wegman is doing better. His shoulder's getting better. I don't see any reason to throw him back out there. I mean, in I mean, Marcel Reed looked like the second coming of Johnny Football against the Gators. I mean, he really,
Whoa, 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 whoa! Against who?
against the Gators.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Against who?
Exactly. And so
Exactly against the fucking Gators. You can't judge shit by that.
So, but I don't think Bowling Green is even up to Florida standards.
That's 3 so far, but it's a little later in the evening, so I don't
the
know.
the only two decent players in my lifetime well, the only one I can think of in my lifetime that decent football player that Bowling Green's ever had is Chris Kardaki, fucking punter. He was a good punter. He was. He really was. He's a really good punter. Not Ray Guy, but I mean he's good. But he's the only one that ever really did anything. And so I don't see the Falcons
We
doing
played against
that much.
them several years ago,
Yeah.
and there was somebody that was halfway decent on there, but hell, I ain't never gonna pull that name.
Well, that had more to do with the fact. See, Bowling Green was where Dino Babers was before he went to Syracuse.
Yeah.
And so he had that high powered offense installed there. Yeah. And so they scored a ton of points, but they couldn't stop shit. And so I think that game was like 59-23 or something. Like we put up almost 60 on them, but they scored over 20 on us. So that was Alvin Kamara's first game as a Vol, because I remember he had one play where he absolutely, I think there were about 3 guys that lost their jocks on one cut. I mean, he put the stank leg on them and just took off. So that's what you remember. That game was actually in Nashville. They played that at Titan Stadium.
They did.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
You reminded me of that one. Yes.
For what it's worth, we both took Texas A&M because
I think they got their manhood back at least for 1 week, and I don't see any reason why it's going to just suddenly magically disappear this week.
Let's hit a couple more, then we'll get to our game. Oh, look at this. The Who Gives a Shit Bowl. Well, actually, I care more and you do too. Arkansas is going to Jordan-Hare.
Well,
Auburn's a 3-point favorite at home against Arkansas.
This is the second saddest SEC game of the weekend by quite a distance, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's not nearly as sad as the one we're calling, that's been called the Zoloft Bowl. But I would like to think Arkansas could go in there and win. I don't. I mean, is Bobby Petrino's offense finally setting in? Are they doing everything what they need to do? Is Auburn still garbage? I mean, Hugh Freeze is definitely garbage, but is his team garbage?
It's only 3 points. Like, this could be a 10-3 football game.
I could see this being low scoring and going to overtime and somebody winning by a touchdown. So I don't even remember who I picked. I think I might have picked Auburn. I can't remember.
We both picked Auburn.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. I like Sam Pittman. I don't trust Sam Pittman. He's let me down way too many times.
I don't like Bobby Petrino. I don't trust Bobby Petrino.
Somebody made the point. Look, it don't as long as it don't matter what he does off the field as long as he wins football games. You don't have to. So as long as he ain't got your daughter on the back of his Harley. As long as he's winning on the football field, nobody's going to give it. Nobody's going to give a damn. That's basically where they're. That's basically how desperate they are in Fayetteville right now.
How many Hooters are in a 5-mile radius of the Auburn football stadium? Is the best question.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'd get distracted.
I wonder if somebody's monitoring Hugh Freeze's Ashley Madison account these days. Yeah. That would be the other question, because I think there's probably a dearth of escort services around Auburn.
One more, then we'll get to our game.
Sure.
We got Kentucky hosting the mighty Ohio Bobcats.
Bobcats from Athens, Ohio. Hometown of Joe Burrow, incidentally.
Yep.
Yeah, Kentucky's got to win that one. I'm sorry, that's the must win for Blue. If they don't, I think Marky Mark is in big trouble if he doesn't win that game.
They love him in Kentucky.
They
It's so crazy. I mean,
they do, but do they love him enough for them to keep getting humiliated? I mean, look, they fought like hell against Georgia. They did. I give them all the credit in the world. They really came up and did everything they could. Got within 3 points. I mean, they're not the only team that's done that. They're not the only bad team that's done that. I mean, Nicholls State several years ago lost to them by 2 points, and a couple of years ago in Columbia, Missouri gave them everything they wanted and then some. So I don't see this being a letdown. I think Brock Vandegrift is going to have some kind of level of confidence. The fact that he got out of the Georgia game alive.
Yeah.
So I think Kentucky. What's the spread?
It's a lot. So that's what caught my eye. They are to win by 20 to cover the spread.
Yeah. That's I can see that being a 24-point game easily.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't have a problem with that one.
Who did I pick for that? I picked Kentucky.
I mean that's a home SEC spread against a lesser conference. I mean that's basically what that signifies.
Yeah.
It's a home SEC team against a lesser conference, and your name is not Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that little asterisk. Yeah, let's see if they can take on the mighty Bobcats. Hey, it's a kitty fight. You got Bobcats, Wildcats. Who knows what'll happen? You know what they should name? Do Marshall and Ohio State play regularly?
I don't think they do.
I so wish they did. That way they could, we used to have the beer barrel, and they could just have the giant Tudor's biscuit.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to comment on that. Yeah, that was funny as shit. It was. For those of you who don't know, Marshall's coach, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Hammonds, wasn't it something?
Charles Huff. Charles Huff was commenting he'd love to have somebody. Marshall apparently has an NIL deal with Tudor's Biscuits, which is the local. It might be a West Virginia chain. I don't know, but it's a local joint there in Huntington, and all their players eat for free. All they care to eat. So if they like biscuits and they want free food and they got speed, come on down, baby. He said, he said, we'd love to have you. I mean, at least he's honest about it. You got to give him some credit for that.
Hey, I didn't hate it. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
The big game of the week.
Oh,
beautiful Tennessee Vols pulling into Norman to face some land-stealing sons of bitches that call themselves Sooners because they got there sooner. Which is, by the way, just some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Man, that's the 1890s for you. So
we enter in as a 7-point favorite.
So Oklahoma got an all-new offensive line in the transfer portal. Most of those guys, especially the ones on the left side, are hurt. Which, by the way, we're down to left. We're down to our starting left tackle too. Lance Hurd is not playing. Which Dane Davis should be fine. Dane's a good player. He should be okay. They cannot handle the depth that we have at D line. It's the constant attack, the constant barrage, the constant rush. It's gonna wear them out after a while. What used to happen to us is going to happen to them. I mean, it's not going to hold up. Just weapon after weapon after weapon that we have. I mean, they're going to load up the box against us. I mean, Sampson has been averaging 7.9 yards a carry. Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Rollins.
Yes, sir.
I mean, Wiley.
Yes, sir.
I mean, super genius.
Yes, sir.
Hell. Now, what happens when they load the box and you've got a receiver room of about 4 or 5 of the baddest motherfuckers in the SEC?
Oh, they're going to throw all over you. They're going to throw all over your ass. I mean, they've got one. Oklahoma has one 100-yard receiver so far in the season. We've got 4. I mean, they've got, we've got two running. Their leading rusher is their quarterback. We've got 2, and we've got 2 running backs that are averaging. Dylan Sampson's averaging 7.9 yards a carry. Deshaun Bishop's averaging over 10 yards a carry. That year off the hill did Deshaun Bishop a world of good, man. That kid came back ready to go.
Not to mention, one of my favorite plays of the year was when we parted the Red Sea.
And Nico went right up the middle.
Our quarterback went for, what was it, a 41 yard?
I think it was like 36. It was somewhere in there. Yeah.
36, 37.
30 to 40, 35 to 40, somewhere there.
Touchdown.
Yeah. So they're going to have, there's just so many different ways. I mean, Nico is going to have to be on the game. He's going to have to be super accurate. He's going to have to not force the ball in the bad situations. He's got to be really careful about that. He's only made one really bad play this year, and that was that first pick against NC State. He should not have thrown that ball. That was, how he did not see that safety out there, I don't know.
But he didn't let it eat him alive.
No, he didn't, and that was good. That was, but this is
playing like an upperclassman right there.
Yes, but this is more. But this is not. He's not playing in a comparable environment in this game. This game is going. This is going to be a much more hostile situation than he had in Charlotte. Charlotte was basically it was a neutral site, but it was more home game than anything because we travel well. I mean, let's just face it, we do. I just Josh Pate has Oklahoma covering, Tennessee winning. He says 6 points. Josh Pate's usually right. He's not wrong very often. I think we cover, and I put the number at 10 points, but I also put it at a late cover. I think this game is very much in question to the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, and we finally all that rotation finally starts to wear down that left side of that defense. I mean, like I said, and I'm there's no hunch on this one, guys. There's just I think we're the better team.
Yeah.
I know we're better. I know we're better offensively. Whether we got the better defensive staff coaching wise, I don't know. I know, but I sure as shit think we got better personnel. I think we got the best D line in the country. Fuck Florida State. And
you mean the 0-3 Seminoles?
Yes.
Fuck those guys.
Pete Thamel needs to go to rehab on that one, man. I don't know what he was smoking when he was spouting that nonsense.
So let's talk about it. A 7-point spread. 7 points. Our friends that we talk to damn near every day. How many of them have picked? Six out of 11 have picked Oklahoma. Now, I don't know if that means they think we'll win by less than 7 points or if they're outright picking Oklahoma.
I think it's wishful thinking.
I do too. And here's why. Like you said, we're going to wear them down. They don't have the personnel to keep up with us. But I don't think it's going to be the third quarter. I think after coming into the fourth quarter, I'm sorry. I think a little while into that third quarter, yeah, you're going to get that rest at halftime. You're going to come back out there and just pummel. They're not going to be able to stop us. They might want to, but people in hell want water.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see this getting out of hand possibly by double that spread, by 14 points. Maybe an almost triple by 20 points.
I like that optimism, kid. Never lose that.
Plus, like you say, let's look at the other side of the ball offensively. They can't. They got nothing. They got that one guy.
Well,
100 yards. Their quarterback, like you say, is their running game.
I mean, he's got Taylor Tatum and Javante Barnes. They're fairly decent. They each run for 100 yards the past 3 games. So I mean, and he's thrown for more touchdowns than Nico. But then, I mean, when you got a running back that's running for 9 touchdowns in 3 games, you don't need to throw the ball.
Yeah,
as much. That's just saying. So, I mean, we're going to see what we see. I mean, this is the game where we start to find stuff out. I mean,
I do. I think this is a big test for us.
Yes.
But I also think that their offensive line It's not going to hold. By the way, Josh Heupel said, "Tell him he's coming, and hell's coming with him." That's us. All right.
Well, folks, it's nearly 10:30. It's 10:20 actually on the East Coast, in the Eastern time zone here in Tennessee. Of course, feel free to, you can send us fundage. We will appreciate anything you guys can give, so we can use it to promote merchandise, to go to games, to spread the word, to be able to do things like that. Go check out our friends at the Pike Barbershop. Please ignore the banner in the background. It says at MVX the Barber. It should say MVX Ramos, but that's an old banner that has not been updated properly. But Pike Barbershop here in Knoxville. Go see Max and Miles and the guys there. Nice. Drink your Milo's iced tea, sweet tea, the manna of the South. Go to Buc-ee's. Be sure to, on all your burgers and hot dogs, use French's mustard, the king of condiments.
If you find yourself on the golf course
or in a football stadium in need of something to throw, make sure it is the number one ball in golf, Titleist. And on that note, Mr. Brandon, you got anything else you want to add before we leave these fine folks to enjoy the rest of their weekend?
Well, let's see. Hell, I had the well, shit. I had the recipe for world peace written on my hand, but it got all sweaty. Ink ran.
Yeah, we'll go with sweat.
Y'all have a good night. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Beat the shit out of them Sooners.
Oklahoma.